welcome to Canadian Justice. I'm Christine Van Gyn, and today we're doing a criminal law update about two recent developments. One is a case about random car stops by police in Quebec and whether those stops are unconstitutional. The other is about the shocking murder of a homeless man in Toronto by a swarming gang of teenage girls. What happened in each of these cases? We've got a lot of ground to cover today, so let's get into it with our criminal law panel from Titan Defence, Kabir, Sharma, and Sina, Shabestary. Kabir, let's start with you. Let's start with the Quebec car stops case. The case was brought by Joseph Christopher Luamba, a 22-year-old Black resident of Montreal, who said that he had been stopped by police nearly a dozen times without reason and never given a ticket. What more can you tell me about Mr. Luamba's case?
So to understand a bit more about Mr. Luamba's case, I think we need to understand first and foremost that police have the ability to stop basically any vehicle on the road if it's for the purposes of ensuring the vehicle is properly insured and registered, and if the driver is properly licensed. So police are already given that power by our courts and by our government. So he was an Haitian immigrant who's had a driver's license since about 2019. About 3 times in a year, he was stopped by police and questioned. They just identified him and they let him go all 3 of these times. The case also had a few other people testify, all individuals Black, indicating that this is a practice that the police engaged in quite often. So what Mr. Luamba did was Mr. Luamba challenged the ability for the police to randomly stop vehicles on the road, either through the common law, which is the power given by judges, or power given to them through the provincial Highway Traffic Act that they have, and brought the argument that these types of powers that police have result in racial profiling or arbitrary stops.
So it was a challenge then under Section 15 of the Charter, which is our guarantee of equal treatment and benefit under the law. Sina, is there anything that you can add about how he argued this case, what was being argued?
I think the important factors to remember here for your viewers, Christine, is that, first of all, there were no charges laid in any of these stops. And secondly, the stops were effected in a short period of time with some persistence, as Kabir said correctly, 3 times within a span of 1 year. The court in these instances, what they do is they try to temper individual civil liberties versus the public's interest in keeping and maintaining a safe society. I think that's the backdrop with which we need to look at this case.
So what exactly then did the court find, Sina, about the random police stops?
What the court found here was that while initially there was the Supreme Court of Canada case of Ladouceur in 1990, and when that was decided, the court was split, there may have been a public safety reason for permitting the police to stop vehicles on the road. Now, we as a community understand racial profiling more, and the police's ability to randomly stop people can result in racial profiling, a practice we as society are trying to eliminate. So what that means is that we want to limit this highly discretionary power if it is being used in the wrong way. And the court found that this is precisely what happened here. And when something has no explanation, we really need to start looking deeper and read between the lines.
Kabir, is there anything you want to add there about what the court decided in this case?
I think, Christine, it's important to understand that racial profiling is never overt. So nobody's here saying that the police are overtly profiling certain people of color. What happens is the court has now recognized that these types of biases are subconscious, that they are ingrained in the way that we as a society operate for a variety of very complex and complicated reasons. So what the court is trying to say is that perhaps it's a systemic issue with the police in which the way that they're trained, that the police officers don't even know that they're racial profiling, but yet they're following their training and they're engaging in those behaviors. So it's a very complex issue that we've now begun exist, as Sina said, and we're now in the process of correcting.
We've got to go to commercial break now, but when we come back, I want to get further into this issue and how it is different from something our viewers may be familiar with, carding.